Statement to hear John Corzine, the former head of Goldman Sachs, the former CEO of now bankrupt MF Global, to say simply he has no idea what happened to the money.
And Lou, to repeat time and time again that he doesn't know, that he's not responsible. I mean, how can the chief executive of an enterprise not be accountable for the people underneath him, the positions that he created, the people in those places, the controls? And this came after our first panel where it was very clear, $1.2 billion missing, the trustee for the bankruptcy court identifying that. Then the commissioner from the CFTC very clearly identifying it was not legally possible to shift money from the future side of the business, the customers' protected accounts, over to the security side. Just an amazing day of testimony, Lou.
An amazing day of testimony. We have bankruptcy trustees. We have audit firms now involved in this case, digging diligently into the books. How would you characterize what they're saying about the state of the books of failed MF Global and its management?
The politest phrase commonly referenced was a big mess. A big mess in a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. At one point, they had $41 billion in assets at MF Global. I mean, it's just almost beyond belief. But that's what we attempted to do today, was to verify the amount of money that's short, verify the fact that it was not legally possible to shift the money from the sequestered accounts that belong to the customers on the future side of the equation over to the security side, but yet clearly that happened. We had testimony from the CME that the daily reports that are supposed to verify the cash that is secure in those sequestered accounts, some of those reports changed over the weekend. This is just the tip of the iceberg, Lou. Whether it's additional work by this committee or other committees, this is the tip of the iceberg.
The CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the relevant exchange here in the case of the futures, commodities, and derivatives that were being traded by MF Global. Give us your sense, at least, and I know it's very early in your investigation, your sense of how much of this money, if you have one, that can be recovered for clients of this failed firm.
Lou, here's the bad part. In direct discussions with the representative of the bankruptcy court, they believe that approximately 2/3 of the money will soon be returned to those customers. It may well be possible to get to the 75% mark, but above and beyond that, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees, as hard as this is to believe, that they'll find that $1.2 billion. Now, I'm hopeful by the time all of the different agencies of the federal government that had better be working on this finish their investigations, we'll put the trail back together. But $1.2 billion, poof, of other people's money?
Your reaction when you heard John Corzine say that he really didn't understand how the firm had lost the money that it did that resulted in the bankruptcy?
Ask anyone that's served within the other body, ask anyone that's followed his career. He's an extremely bright individual. He's a very talented individual. I can only say that while I was pleased, he was willing to come to the committee after we voted to serve a subpoena, after the federal marshals delivered it to his attorney. Nonetheless, he answered questions in a way that left many, many things to be desired. Now, this will all come out. This will ultimately all come out. But right now, at the end of this first day of the hearing process, we're left telling the constituents back home who are involved in those futures contracts, as hedges primarily, right, somewhere between 1/3 and 1/4 of your money just seems to be gone.
Yeah. It's a sad and difficult, complex issue that I know that everyone appreciates your leadership in the investigation. Very quickly, as we wrap up here, the fact that he did not take the fifth, John Corzine standing up and not taking the fifth, did that impress you? Does it give him any kind of, if you will, extra credit in the mind of Chairman Frank Lucas?
I was very appreciative of his willingness to answer questions, but he answered them in such a fashion we didn't get the answers we needed, Lou.
All right. Well, I know those questions will be continued.